watching a video by the creator of Orchid Mommy, and she was talking about how a lot of women are losers. Like, we don't usually call women losers, but a lot of women are losers for the simple fact that they don't want to be anything, they don't want to do anything with their lives, yet they hate on and try to tear down women who do. And she used the word destabilize, which describes perfectly how loser women will literally try to trick you out of your spot, make you feel like you're doing something wrong or you are wrong because you're confident or because you don't need the group's validation. These are the type of women who will never check each other like in a genuine way. Maybe passively they be doing little weird stuff to each other, but they will never hold each other accountable for real. They never check each other. They never give each other criticism, constructive criticism to be a better woman, but instead they commune and they build bonds by hating on the next person that doesn't need their validation, that doesn't want to be a part of their group. Even today, I walked into a restaurant, forgot something in my car, so I had to go back out to my car and come back in. And these two girls were literally staring at me walking in. They seen me come in the first time, and I guess they decided the second time they were gonna like simultaneously stare at me as I walked by. And it's just like, if you're gossiping, if you're talking shit about me, that's one thing. But loser women will try to make sure you know that they're talking about you and make sure that you know that they don't mess with you for whatever reason, or they don't like you even. And sometimes they do it in a joking way, but you still feel that bit of like truth behind the joke, you know what I mean? Women are really losers. Like, believe it or not, women are losers.
Hey, I am Kay Buki. Okay, so I listened to your video. I first want to say that all women are not losers. I know you didn't say all, but you kind of generalized it and just said women are losers. And I'm just here to say all women are losers. I'm sure you know that. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to do, y'all. I'm trying to, you know how your tone like sets the precedence of how things are going to flow, right? Excuse me if I'm kind of nasally. I was like coming down with something. I was in a meeting the other day. Side note, I was in a meeting the other day and I ate some food. And immediately after I ate the food, I started feeling sick. Not to mention this lady totally turned and like coughed in my face. I was like, and then ever since then, I've just been like nasally and sneezing and, you know, so I've been drinking tea and trying to get myself together. Anyway, so if I sound nasally, that's why. But I digress. I'm trying to, or I have been trying to, because, you know, I'm a cap. I can be pretty blunt, but I'm sure a lot of people can be blunt in how they choose to speak, right? I never want to make a person feel like they ain't shit, basically. You know what I mean? So I am Kay said, women are losers. And I understand her frustration, and I understand where she's coming from and why she's saying the things that she's saying. I also understand, you know, why some people react that way. Some people, look, as good as bad is evil, right? Some people act the way they act unknowingly, right? Because of whatever inner issues they have. And some people react the way they act knowingly, right? They know full well what they're doing. They are in their right mind when they do what they do, and they do it because they're being evil, right? So we know that women who behave in that way, there's either some kind of insecurity, right? Some kind of personality issue, some kind of childhood issue, mama issue, daddy issue. You know, you never know what a person has been through. You don't know what a person has endured, right? But you also don't have to tolerate somebody treating you like shit, right? You can also erect boundaries. That was something that I learned, and I learned it the hard way. I never used to have boundaries because I wasn't taught to have boundaries. I didn't know that I was supposed to have boundaries, right? But as you get older and people hurt you along the way, you learn that it is very important to erect boundaries in order to protect yourself, to protect your heart, to protect your peace, right? And it doesn't matter who it is, family, friend, boss, co-worker, stranger, whatever. It doesn't matter who it is. You do what you do to protect your peace, to protect your family, right? And a lot of times families don't want you to have boundaries because they don't want you to have boundaries against them. They want to be able to control you, right? And, finagle you, tell you what to do. So a lot of times they don't want you to have boundaries. The healthy family members, the healthy friends, the healthy bosses and coworkers, they will understand boundaries, right? And they will respect your boundaries, right? Because they will respect you as a person, right? And they will expect you to respect them as well, because they'll probably have some boundaries in place too, right? So, when women act immature like that, it's like I usually liken them to like adult children, like adults who never grew up mentally, like they never got past a certain age mentally, and they probably got stuck there because of some type of childhood wounding or something. So I usually liken it to that, or they just, like I said, they know what they're doing, they do it intentionally. Some people are just cruel, some people are lost souls. They don't know who they are. They haven't been able to, like, they may have had in their mind what they wanted to do with their life, and their life never went according to how they dreamed it to be for whatever the reason, right? But we create our lives, don't we? So if your life didn't go according to what you dreamed it to be, then you also have to look in the mirror, and you also have to kind of reflect back on why that is, and you have to take accountability for whatever actions you played in the part that hindered you from reaching certain dreams, right? Like, I'm not rich or anything, right? Clearly, but I have accomplished a lot in my short life, right? A lot more so than a lot of maybe people in my family, right? And sometimes when you accomplish a lot more than people in your family or friends or whatever, or you're determined to reach new heights and you actually do it, sometimes they can look at you and they can get attitudes, or they may say things like, oh, she thinks she's better than us, or she's she's uppity, or she's, they just label you, and they call you up, but it's out of jealousy, it's out of envy, it's out of them feeling that they either lack something or feeling bad that they didn't reach whatever dream that they were going for, right? Which they still can. They still have life in them. So as long as you have life in you, you can do whatever you want. But some people hinder themselves because they think that they can't. And they constantly tell themselves that they can't. Oh, I'm too old. Or this and that. Or this and that. And they make a bunch of excuses, which holds them back. And then they look at the next person and they see what they're doing. And that, mind you, that person can have way little than them. But they're still going for it. You know what I mean? And they'll still hate the person because of it. It's like crazy, right? So, and then, like IMK said, it'll be, they'll group up together, right? Because they feel like they have something in common, which is, the common denominator is you, the person that they're hating on, right? So they'll group together to set you up, to do something to you. They'll group together to put a hitman out on you. They'll group together and take out PP loans in your name illegally and try to pin the crime on you. They're grouped together and Sometimes they can lie and say they're married to you. And you're not married to them. But they can say that they're married to you. And lie to the court system. Sometimes they can group together and they can lie on you and say you're incompetent. That you are mentally messed up. That you can't think for yourself. You know, they can group up and, you know, take out insurance on you, steal inheritances and trust funds and all kind of things, you know what I mean? Like, they can group up and do all kinds of things against you because their hatred for you, because of you continuing to reach for new heights, pisses them off that much. You don't have to do anything to anybody. You don't have to speak to a person. You don't have to look at a person. You don't have to entertain their foolishness. You don't have to feed into their negativity. All you got to do is keep moving forward and mind your business, and they will still hate you for it. And they will still target you for it. And they will still try to set you up to do harmful things to you. Because that's how much they hate themselves. It's very deep. A lot of it is psychological. A lot of it is mental illness. But I try to look at it from that aspect instead of saying that B-I-T-C-H, that, this, that, you know what I mean? I try to be kind. Comment, y'all?